Welcome back to the Broncos Avenue podcast. I'm your host, Amir, with my co-host today, Jordan, and a very special guest. We have Brandon Perna, the legend himself, the man, the myth, the legend, on today's show. I don't think any of you guys expected this one. We have Brandon Perna on today's show. Super excited to have you on today to talk all things Broncos. You're obviously all your content, something a lot of the Denver Broncos fans and the community definitely enjoy. And I told a lot of people that I was gonna, a few people that I was gonna have you on today, and they're really, really excited, and I'm excited myself. But without further ado, Brandon, how are you doing today, man? How's life? How's the YouTube videos? How's the fam? How's everything going?
That's a lot. Everything is going well. I had food poisoning last weekend, so after you do that, you look at life a little different. When you can't control your body, I won't get into graphic detail, but two different ends of your body you lose control over. You see darkness. You go into a place that was darker than this last season for the Broncos, and you emerge from that with a new appreciation of life. So I am doing better. Broncos offseason's been interesting, and I really appreciate you guys having me. You've been crushing it. I've been seeing your videos, I think through Instagram and clips when you've had players and guests on. So happy to be here, and just know like you guys are doing a great job as well, Amir and Jordan. So
I appreciate it.
Thank you, man. Javonte Williams jersey back there, autograph. Love it.
Appreciate it. Yeah, that's my favorite player easily. But yeah, thanks for being on the show today.
Hold on. And, in terms of background, Jordan, you got to step up your game right now.
Man. So look, I'm gonna tell you what's crazy. I have so much Bronco like memorabilia and stuff. I'm in my college dorm room right now, so I didn't want to bring all the stuff with me. The only Broncos thing I have, Broncos thing I have here with me is my Tim Patrick flag. That's about it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Where at college are you?
I go to University of Houston.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. And by the way, it's crazy because last week, Amir knows this. I had food poisoning last week too. I had food poisoning last week too, man. I was out of there, dog. Yeah, I tried to come on here and do a podcast, and Amir was like, man, we can we were
like 30 seconds. Yeah, this dude looked like he was about to throw up on the screen or something.
Yeah, man. Yeah. It was. Yeah, I don't know what's been in the air, man, but it was rough.
Well, yeah. we have a bonding story now, Jordan. You and I are the same.
Oh man, yeah. You guys better not virtually transmit this stuff to me.
Yeah, Amir, could you leave for a little bit so we can talk?
I got you.
About our food poisoning.
Oh man, oh dude. Yeah, dude. We literally, and just to everybody out there, Brandon is hilarious. Like I genuinely enjoy your content because I can't say that about many like content creators, and that's just me, but I like. Even like NFL content itself, you can go on there and it can kind of be like more serious stuff and just learning from like the X's and O's standpoint and all of that stuff, just trying to gain more knowledge. When you go on Brandon Perna's videos, that's good sports, that's good Broncos. I feel like I always get a laugh out of everything. And just even having you here in the studio with us, even before we started recording, you had us laughing from the very jump. You're just an all around hilarious dude. I really do appreciate all your content and everything. I know I could speak on behalf of all of the Broncos country and the NFL world in general when on the content creating space.
As long as you speak for the entire NFL world.
Yeah.
I got
appreciate
you.
That.
Yeah,
like you do it long enough. Like I don't know what's funny anymore. It's just like, but that really is a good confidence booster for the rest of my day.
Yeah. To go with Amir, it's kind of crazy because like anytime, like especially this season when the Broncos would just have a devastating loss that just made me sick to my stomach. Your videos would cheer me up. It'd just be funny how you just kind of get on them. It's hilarious. I give it to you. I'm not gonna lie.
More sick than the food poisoning.
No. It was nothing worse than that. It was nothing worse. Nothing was worse than that.
No.
Yeah.
How are you guys feeling about the offseason so far?
Oh man, it's been pretty good. I mean, some of the moves, the Ben Powers move was like one of easily my top 3 favorite free agents. So to get him was insane. But also I was like on the podcast, you can ask Jordan, like I was actively arguing against Mike McGlinchey. And then the next thing we know, we signed him to 5 years, 87
Man,
and a
that
half
was
million,
hilarious.
50 million guaranteed. So you can probably assume the reaction I had to that. But other than that, I like that they're emphasizing the run game, because I've been constantly preaching on this pod. Like, they need to be a run first team. I don't really think they need to be that gun it down the field with Russell Wilson at this point in his career. And they need to run it with him more. And, to get these blockers and, for him in front of him at the first and second level, it's really important. So I do like what they've done there. Overall, the offseason, it's been pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, man, for me, I kind of expected it. I mean, the Broncos had to be aggressive. We don't have that much draft capital and everything. And I just, like every time I thought about this offseason, I thought about the 2014 offseason when we brought in all those just Emmanuel Sanders to leave, TJ Ward, DeMarcus Ware. I'm like, man, Denver's got to have an offseason like that. And you've seen day 1 of free agency, and day 2, they just went after it. They made, I think they made like 3 day 1 free agency signings: McGlinchey, Stidham, and Ben Powers. Then you see Zach Allen, Perine, and Callaway. I mean, it just keeps going on. And then, of course, the trade for Sean Payton. It's just like, I give it to George Paton and the ownership, man. They're killing it. I give it to them. They're trying to win.
Yeah, I'm skeptical until I see the product, but like, and I think last season I got too excited, so I'm just trying to just keep it in check. But I feel like they've had a nice offseason so far. And I think McGlinchey is going to be a lot better than people believe, because the right tackle position's just been such a bad spot. Like,
for sure,
you can be average and be like, you know what? Pretty good tackle if he's just average. And if they do run the ball, I think like last season, the not getting runs over 20 yards for like half the season just killed them. So I really like the Samaje Perine signing. Also because he doesn't fumble, so that is a huge bonus. And he can take screenplays to the house against the Chiefs. It seems like screenplays, I think, are going to be a thing that work again for the Broncos, and they haven't for the last couple of years. And we saw a little bit when they put Marlon Mack in last season. He took one or two. He took one to the house, but that was like it. But if they can get that part of the game, give those easy throws that turn into first downs, I think the line, Perine until Javonte gets healthy. Like, just watching some like Javonte Williams highlights again, because he didn't play all last year. It's like, oh yeah, I forgot how good he is,
so damn good,
punishing he is, and why we were so excited. So that was a real tragedy not having Javonte play. So I'm excited once he gets right, and I don't want him to rush him back. Like, I really want him on the field, but I know he really jacked up his knees. So let it get right, and then you got to believe Peyton's knows what he's doing.
Yeah, his whole philosophy for sure. Obviously, and then we got the news of Jerry Jeudy and Courtland Sutton, all the trade rumors and everything, and then we got Sean Payton and George Paton basically just sticking the middle finger to everybody and shutting down all those trade rumors. What was kind of your reaction to that? And in that process, did you think that one of the two was actually going to be traded?
Well, I still think one of the two might still be traded. I think they just haven't gotten an offer that's worth the value that those two players have. So I think they're in a position where they definitely want a first or second round pick, because they don't have one. They have 2 players other teams are interested in Sutton and Jeudy. But those 2 players are still very valuable to the Broncos. They're valuable to what they're going to want to do on offense, even though it didn't quite pan out last year. We saw who Jerry Jeudy could be with Russell Wilson late in the season. So I was somebody who was ready to trade Jeudy, just because it wasn't even a knock on Jeudy. It was just like, nothing works on this offense right now. So why should I care if we can get some value to build the team in other ways? But then when it clicked, when they moved him, and I was like, oh yeah, this is exactly who we thought Jerry Jeudy would be. I want to see more of this. So to me, it's more about the Broncos know there's value for those guys. And if Tim Patrick's healthy, then they do have a little bit of depth there, but we saw you can't really have enough depth at any position. So it's more of them just listening and maybe waiting for the right offer. And if they get the right offer, I think they'll make the move. And I think keeping a first for Jeudy is a minimum because it depends on what first you're getting. It depends on who they value in this receiving draft class. I don't think there's anybody there as a prospect who is as good as Jeudy was as a prospect, right? So I don't know if you're going to get that comp to replace him right away, or if there's another position they value a player higher than Jeudy in the draft and they think they can get him with a trade, then it might make sense. But they're not in a position where they have to trade either guy, and they want to keep weapons around Russ, obviously. So they're in a good spot. They might not, but I wouldn't like them saying that they aren't or weren't going to trade him. I think it's more like we didn't get the value that we want for either of these guys, and we don't have to move on from them. So we're not going to.
Yeah, I would have to agree. Like me and Amir called this back during the season. Like, I was kind of been saying that I thought Courtland Sutton was going to be the guy to get moved. But I have to agree with you. I mean, I don't think Denver is going to take anything less than their asking price. I mean, you've seen the trades George Paton has made. He got a first for Bradley Chubb, and he got a second and a third for Von Miller on an expiring contract halfway through the year. But I think, like with George Paton, he's not going to take anything like he's not going to get fleeced. Like, he's not going to go out there and just, take crap for a guy and just like a 4th-round pick for Courtland Sutton and be like, okay, we're going to move on. Like, he's not going to do that. Courtland Sutton's not on a bad contract. So I think the asking price for him should be around a 2nd-round pick. And you are right. Like with Jerry Jeudy, I think the minimal price should be a 1st-round pick because you're not going to get anybody. I don't really see anybody in this draft that you can get in the 2nd round that's going to be a Jerry Jeudy unless you get, unless you get like a top 15 pick and take like JSN or one of those guys like that. But yeah, I would have to agree with you. But you see it all the time. Teams say we're not going to trade these guys, and they're saying that because they're not shopping them. They're just taking calls for them. But I can still very well see one of those guys getting traded. Honestly, I don't think Sean Payton really saying that means that much. I think it shows that no, we're not shopping these guys. We don't want to get rid of these guys, but with the right offer, I'll move them. So to
me, it's almost comparable to like AJ Brown in the last draft, right? Like all of a sudden we're like, oh God, they actually traded away AJ Brown. Like if Jeudy goes, to me, I feel like it might happen in that manner.
Yeah.
But it's also like if you're trading, say, Jeudy, and you're getting a 1st rounder, you actually get a 1st rounder. You're probably not trading him to grab another receiver. It's like you think you can get an edge player or something like that you might have a need where you justify it. But even that's still kind of a stretch. Like I just want the offense to be good. Whatever happens, if this team can just score a lot of points every week, I will feel so much better about football in 2023.
Yeah, I have to agree.
I'm just kind of I don't know. I don't know if I really agree. I'm kind of struggling with the fact that he went out of his way, and the whole wording and everything was really, really interesting. I kind of try to look at every detail of what these GMs and coaches say. Rather than saying we're not interested in trading those guys, they kind of said we are not trading those 2 players. Both of them said that. Mike Kliss, said in his recent article that they are staying. They're not going to be traded. Which obviously Mike Kliss is one of those guys from the sources of the organization where they could, potentially be having him relay something that they want him to the media and public. But I'm not really too sure. I've been more so, believing that Courtland Sutton is a possibility. But after the last few days, I really feel like it's kind of like a 5 to 10% chance. So there's a little bit of a sliver of hope, but for the people that do want to move him. But Jerry Jeudy, I don't know. I just really struggle. And you guys are making good points. Like, there's not a route runner as good as Jeudy in this draft. There's not someone as proven as Jeudy in this draft. There isn't even, I don't even think there's, this draft is really interesting because I personally, from watching these receivers, I believe that there's more depth and, solid wide receiver 2s in like rounds 3 to 6 than there are like really capable wide receiver 1s in this draft. Like, I like Josh Downs and JSN a lot, but besides that, I think Quentin Johnston will turn out pretty good. But besides that, I don't really see guys that could come in and like really, be a lot better than Jerry Jeudy. And those guys I just mentioned, they're going to go pretty early in the draft. And I'm not sure the Broncos would be able to net a pick that could replace him. And also another thing is I feel like this wide receiver room is one injury away. Even if you keep Jerry Jeudy and Courtland Sutton right now, it's one injury away where we're saying, damn, we're trotting out Brandon Johnson and Kendall Hinton out there starting this week. Like it's crazy. And obviously KJ Hamler, I hate to say it, but the guy's injury prone. So I think honestly, I think they're looking to keep these guys and add a receiver in the third or fourth round, because we keep. I don't know if you guys picked this out, but George Paton and Sean Payton kept reiterating that they don't think this wide receiver class is very deep at all, which I thought was really interesting. They purposely kept going out of their way to say that, which makes me believe it might be a little bit of a smoke screen here, and they may like a wide receiver there with pick 67 or pick 68.
Yeah, I mean, like I would have to agree with Perna too, just based off what he said. And I didn't even think about it. I could very well see one of them getting traded like during draft day, like you just see the Broncos trade up and you're like, oh God, what do we do? And you see like Courtland Sutton gets traded to like New England, Baltimore, just one of those teams that needs a wide receiver. The Giants, just a team that you kind of see them sneak up on, because I don't believe when they say they don't think this receiving class is deep, because this is a nice receiving class. It's not like, all the big names, and it's not going to be a lot of like humongous game changers, but there's a lot of solid guys in the later rounds, the rounds 3 through 6 that me and you kind of went over. I could definitely see the Broncos taking one of them, but I mean, it's one of those things that you don't want to see those guys go, but at the end of the day, it's a business. And if I had to pick, I'm still going with Courtland Sutton to get traded. Because I just don't see Jerry Jeudy getting moved. I don't. I really don't. Because I believe with Sean Payton and him, if you can give Jerry Jeudy his targets, he can just stay healthy, don't miss the usual 3-4 games. If he can just stay healthy, Sean Payton gets him his targets, the balls. Him and Russ already started clicking the second half of the season. And he was so close to 1,000 yards, too. He had like 972 yards, if I'm correct. I mean, he's right there, man. Yeah. He's just on the cusp of breaking out and just going crazy. So I just think you got to keep him. You got to wait and see. He's still on his rookie deal, too.
If I'm being perfectly honest, I kind of want to see a trade because can I swear on here?
Of course. Yeah, go for it.
The first 2 rounds of the draft are going to be incredibly fucking boring without any picks, guys. I just want something to happen in this draft for us early, because last year was not fun without a first rounder, and now we don't even have a second round. We had a second round pick last year, right? Or no?
Yeah.
Just late.
Yeah, we did.
Late in the second. It felt like a third.
Yeah, it was pick 42. So it was like mid-second round pick, Nick Bonito.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
you got to take a step up. But
yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Bonito. I mean, you kind of do have a point there. I mean, but like I said, if I had to pick anybody, I think it's Sutton, man. I think it is. It's just been my gut feeling like for a while now. I think it's Sutton.
Yeah, just because it felt like he just, I don't even know if it's on Sutton, if it was just the offense, but it felt like it wasn't working the way we wanted it to work. Mm-hmm. Tim Patrick comes back. Maybe it's him and Sutton and Jeudy on the field at the same time, then everybody's better. I don't know. But the Patrick injury was just such like I think like a blow to the team. Mm-hmm. But it's not like he's the most dominant receiver or anything like that. It's just so consistent, and it felt like the offense just functioned better when he was on the field from the previous year with Pat Shurmur, who was an offense to my existence. But I didn't think it would get worse than Shurmur, and then it did. So who knows?
Yeah, the Tim Patrick thing really felt like you had a Jenga tower and you're pulling the last block from the very bottom and everything falls apart. Like he is, I feel like, in my opinion, he's like Josie Jewell for our offense. Like he's the glue to how that receiving game works. And Russell Wilson and him were developing a very, very nice connection in, the offseason. So,
yeah. I mean, that's like, I remember hearing the news that like he tore his ACL. No, I remember like hearing the news that he went down, and I was like, I hope it's nothing serious. I'm like, because if he gets hurt, then that just breaks. Because I honestly think that just broke apart the whole offense. I feel like Hackett and them didn't know what to do without him out there. I feel like they came in there with a strong game plan. Like, okay, we're gonna have Tim and Court on the outside, Jeudy on the inside, and then we're just gonna run it from there. And once Tim Patrick went down, you could kind of see they didn't really know what to do. They didn't know what to game plan. They didn't know how to. Russ didn't know how to adapt because he didn't have a strong chemistry with other guys, and it was just everything just went downhill from there. But speaking about the draft, I don't know if you had a chance to get a deep dive in the draft, but if you did, can you tell us? Oh, you haven't?
Nope.
Okay.
I know the quarterbacks. But just ask away.
Jordan thought you were the next Daniel Jeremiah.
Yeah, I've been looking at the draft quite a bit recently, so I'm very prepared for what question you have coming up.
All right. Now, I was just going to ask, can you tell us about your favorite draft prospects, like receivers, corners, stuff like that?
My favorite draft prospect is Anthony Richardson.
Wow.
No, me too, for real. Yeah, Anthony Richardson's a beast.
I have a video going up about him today, so that's why I know about him. No, I don't know anybody outside the first round. I know about Jalen Carter. I know about Bryce Young. I know about Will Anderson, Levis, Stroud. That's it. That's it. That's all I know.
Okay, that's fine.
Who do you guys like? Tell me, third round Broncos picking.
Oh,
who do you want them to take?
well,
Educate me.
Well, I'm gonna go first.
Jordan can speak with me.
I'm gonna go first. Man, I'm banging on the table for Jaden Reed. Go watch his tape. Jaden Reed out of Michigan State. The dude can play outside, inside, and he's a great kick returner. He's an all-around gadget guy. He's a Sean Payton type of guy. He reminds me so much of Brandon Cooks, younger version of Brandon Cooks almost. I'm not gonna lie. If the Broncos can take him in the third round, like I was telling Amir, I wouldn't be mad if we used like our first third round pick on him. He's such a stud. Like, that's actually crazy. Another guy, Jake Bobo, kind of one of those, like, he's kind of one of those guys, like, he can play tight end, wide receiver. You can line him up as a blocker. He can do a lot of things. I have a whole list of guys.
Jaden Reed from Michigan State.
Yeah, Michigan State. Jake Bobo.
He's going to go really late, though.
Yeah, UCLA, I think. He's out of UCLA. Yeah. I'll give you two more guys, and I'll let Amir go. Dante Demas Jr., the wide receiver. I can't think of his college.
Maryland.
Yeah. Dante Demas out of Maryland. He is 6'4", 216, just an absolute unit beast. You can tell he got that dog in him. And then finally, Rashid Rice, 6'2", 203 out of Ole Miss. Reminds me so much of AJ Brown. He's like, if I had to pick a guy that's just built like AJ Brown and just the whole game, and he's out of Ole Miss too, it's Rashid Rice. So
yeah, he took my favorite receivers in the draft out of my mouth. So I've been pounding the table for Jaden Reed and what's his face, Dante Demas for months. You can look at Dontavian Wicks. You can look at Jonathan Mingo. Those are just the receivers. We're just naming a bunch of receivers right now, but I think corner or not linebacker, edge, and center really need to be considered in the third round as well, though. Those are positions I still need to attack, though. I've been kind of going position by position. I don't really, mix up my tape and stuff. But yeah, that's just kind of where I'm looking at right now.
Yeah, I think edge is the one I'm most concerned about on defense.
I've been saying a lot. Like, I don't think a lot of people agree with that. I feel like edge is really concerning. Like, I'm not really happy with the depth that we have. I'm not really happy with Nick Bonito much. I think it's going to take a little bit of time with him. And also, I mean, Randy Gregory, obviously, I know you and Will were talking about it on the That's Good Broncos podcast. Like, Randy Gregory, you don't know when he's going to go down. And then Baron Browning, he even has a little bit of injury issues, and he's still trying to learn the edge position as well. So it is very concerning, actually. I would not be surprised if the Broncos take an edge with their very first pick, actually.
Yeah, I would have to say, and the crazy thing is, it's kind of been like a little issue for us for the past few years. I mean, you look at Vaughn and Bradley Chubb. I'm not saying their play, but just the injury. Like, you never know which one is going to go down, which one's going to be in the lineup, and then you thinking, well, maybe like the new guys that do. Nope, it's the same way. Bam Browning, Randy Gregory. I mean, I'm just hoping we can get some healthy guys. Those guys can stay healthy. I think we'll be fine. Between Bam Browning and Randy Gregory, Nick Bonito does have to step up, but I mean, we still have some depth. But like Amir said, I wouldn't be surprised at all if we go edge, like, our second pick in the third round or definitely fourth round.
If they all stay healthy, if Gregory's healthy, if Browning's healthy, I'm cool with it. And I think we saw like potential from Browning, like his insane speed off the edge. But when it shifted to where he needed to be the guy, it felt like the pass rush just wasn't there. After Chubb left, it wasn't as effective on the edge anyway. And who knows if they got better, on the corner there with, Draymond Jones leaving and Zach Allen coming in. So I would not bank on Gregory playing a full season. I think Bonito can turn into a decent player there. But yeah, if they grab an edge player if they go edge, if they keep Jeudy and Sutton, I don't really care if they're looking at receivers because they brought in Callaway. You still have Montreal Washington as, that speed guy that maybe can fill in for Hamler. So I think there's potential at receiver, but edge would be a nice place if they found somebody in that third round that turned into like a game wrecker, a dude there.
Yeah.
But
I want to ask you a little bit, just going away from the draft a little bit, going to your YouTube channel. Obviously, big relief. Obviously, I want to talk about your YouTube channel, 385,000 subscribers. I just want to kind of get your whole thoughts on how you started your YouTube channel, what made you start uploading videos, where did that kind of stem from, and what advice would you give to content creators trying to grow in this space?
The piece of advice I give is just like consistency. So like you just got to keep doing it. Just keep plugging away at it. Let people know you're going to be there, whether it's once a week or twice, whatever your schedule is, just show up, make it work. That's like the hardest part.
Yeah.
Once you figure out, your voice, how you make your videos, just keep doing it. Pay attention to what's like working. And when you find a video that hits or clicks, like figure out what made that video successful and then try to repeat that. Like I got into YouTube because I was working for other YouTubers in Los Angeles for this company called Maker Studios. So I was editing and directing videos for Ray William Johnson's channel. So this was like way back in the day. I was editing and doing like some visual effects stuff for like epic rap battles. So like all these early YouTubers. And it was like, man, I want to be doing that shit too. Like, because they were having like all this success. And I was like, what can I talk about every day? Or what would I want to talk about? And I was like, football. So started with like sports. And then I just zoned in on the Broncos. And that's where like I had my first video do well. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to keep following the Broncos. And like for me, it was if I was editing videos and doing that all day for work, so the other like battle was if I'm gonna add more work that's the same to my day, what can it be? So it was like Broncos and football. Like I won't mind putting in the time. And then just 10 years I've been doing that shit. So it's just like when I say consistency, just keep plugging away at it because it's rewarding once you kind of build a little momentum. But it took a while. I was not smart. Be smart about it. Like learn about analytics, learn about all of that stuff. Like for example, because it took me 10 years to get where I'm at. I just did a live stream with Cole DeRuse, who does the Chiefs channel. How about those Chiefs? In 1 year, he's built a subscriber base of 100,000. And we both have similar like video backgrounds. His approach was just so much smarter than mine. And the way he, like, if you want to look at how to do it, look at what Cole did in 1 year on YouTube. And then be like, how can I apply that to what I want to do? And it's hard if you're doing other stuff. Like if you're working a full-time job, which most people are, or going to school, like fitting that stuff into your schedule. But look at the people who did it really well quickly and mimic what they do, not what I did. If you're trying to make a bunch of dumb dick jokes about football, it's going to take a while to convince people to keep coming back. Stay away from trying to be funny. That would be my advice.
Okay.
Be smart.
Yeah, man. I give it to you to know. That's really good advice though. But I watch your channel a lot, man, and like over the years, I just seen it keep growing and growing. And I remember when I first started watching your videos, my brother was like, "You got to check out this dude. That's good Broncos. That good sports. He's fucking hilarious." And I'm like, "Oh, really?" So I'm checking your channel. And just nice. it just keeps growing and growing. And because in my head, I'm like, "Bro, this dude should have like 1 million subscribers. Like this dude's freaking hilarious." Bro, your content is great, man. It's hilarious.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure. It just it all gives me a laugh, especially like back in the day, when the Broncos were actually winning and we were actually, contending. I used to love watching your videos, man.
That was fun.
Dude, it's crazy because because whenever you're a content creator, especially for like a sports team, you really see the most growth whenever they're actually winning damn games and making really big moves. Because That too, yeah. Like we're a big laughing stock last season. I kind of saw a little bit of growth on my page from that, and then also when we traded for Russell Wilson, I got a little bit of growth from that. And then when he started sucking, I also got growth from that. So it honestly, Russell Wilson's been doing wonders for my page. But in all in all fairness, I thought you brought up a really interesting point because like you talk about content creating and just finding the right thing to post. It's like I really do see what you're saying, and like a lot of people out there that are trying to grow, like when you do find that one video or post or whatever it is that you're trying to make content for, you find that one thing that kind of just blows up, and you kind of just got to pick it piece by piece, dive into the analytics, how the shares look and the video duration, all that stuff. I think it's super, super interesting. And once you get like enough experience, you just know what what pops off, like what people want to see. Like my biggest advice is just post what people want to see, not what necessarily like you yourself would like to see and hope that people would want to see. I think that's just like my best advice, not necessarily doing it only for yourself, but doing it for your audience. I think is really, really interesting. And
no, that's good
something
advice.
Really
it's still something I don't do, but it's good advice. Like, I make a lot of videos just because like that's the thing I want to see, or I would do it.
I mean,
and it doesn't always work. And like, look, like last year, the videos that did well for me were the Broncos recaps, like the worst game ever, the new worst game ever. I didn't plan that. Like I tried to do something that to start the season about like recapping each week as like a movie trailer for the NFL. I think we did 3 or 4 weeks of it, and they just tanked. I thought they were a great idea. I thought the videos were solid, but nobody watched it. So I moved on, and then I leaned into the fact that people just wanted to see me as a Broncos fan be miserable about how bad the Broncos were. But like, it wasn't a different video. Like I've been doing Broncos game recaps for 10 years, but it was just the right moment for that formula to work and for me to rant about how bad they were. So that was just kind of luck. Like that's just, I didn't do anything different. People just watched it because we were a dumpster fire. So I don't know if those videos will work next year. I don't have a good plan for this coming season, but we'll see. I wait for crazy news to happen. If something like something crazy happens, those videos do well. But like every week, every month, every year on YouTube is a guessing game. I'm not great at paying attention to analytics. I said do it. I still don't. But if I were giving advice to other people, do it.
For me, I started doing it like I would say like 4 months into me, like making content and stuff like that. I start paying attention to like what videos went viral, like the timestamps, what time I posted it, and just what people wanted to see. And basically it was like trends, like the longer videos. Like I feel like for me, like the longer my videos are, the more like views I get, especially like on TikTok. On Instagram, I kind of figured out it's like the shorter ones, like that kind of tells like a story, like gets like the most views. But yeah, man, I mean, but you had a point though, everything's about consistency. I feel like one of the things I live by is like, if you really love something, you can make time for it, regardless of how your schedule is. Like for me, that's just for me. I mean, I work every day, and I'm going to class, college, and everything like that. And I just find time throughout my day to do, to make videos and stuff like that. But yeah, man, I mean, you're right about consistency, because you have like making like content you have to be consistent though. You do.
Yeah, it's like a long-term, it's a long play for most people to like do anything in these spaces, but the opportunity is there. If you're passionate about doing it, then do it.
But I want to ask you something. After the first game of the season, I watched. It was we played the Seahawks, and I was so hyped going into the season. It was, looking back on it, it was terrible. I had all my friends in my room. I'm like, man, I'm like, come on, it's the Seahawks, man. We finna go thrash them, like everything like this, and we just kind of wet the bed a little bit. It was really bad, but you made a video about the first game and just how bad it was and the terrible coaching decision and the thing you had to make. Like, after watching that first game, were you like, did you kind of have an idea of what the season was going to be like after seeing? You didn't?
No. I thought, I was worried about that game going into it because like it's a tough ask for a guy like Russ to go back home in his first game with like a new team and perform in that environment. And I just it just felt like that was a big obstacle for Russ heading into that game.
Mm-hmm.
Even as bad as Hackett was at the end of that game, I wasn't too worried about like I wasn't super bothered about the decision making. That was more of like just taking the tone of what people were ranting about and making the video about it. Like I was more concerned about those 2 fumbles on the goal line, one by Gordon, one by Javonte Williams. To me, I was like, this was a game where none of these guys really played all preseason. They made a couple mistakes because if they score on either one of those drives there, they win that game. So it's like, that's the emotions, the jitters. This is really a preseason game for them. They're going to be fine. I was overconfident.
Okay.
I don't think I was fine with all of September being kind of weird. I was like, I think it's going to take a little bit for all of this to click. I think I started to get more worried through October. And then the Colts game, which I was just like, this team there's problems here. I think the Colts game was really the one I was just like, they're not getting any better soon.
How was that experience? I know all the fans were leaving early and stuff. How was that?
They were not leaving early. Some people left. You don't see some people leave during an overtime game. I know that. But a lot of those people were just going to the bathroom. It wasn't like the stadium was empty for overtime. I think it was a little misleading. Some people did leave. Rightfully so, because it was like, they're not going to win this game, I don't think. Or they're going to play a full overtime quarter and result in a tie. I thought that's what was going to happen, honestly. I thought it was going to be a tie game.
Oh, my.
Yeah. But it was not a fun game.
Yeah, I mean, me and you were kind of different. Like, after that game, like, I don't know what it is, but, like, I can just kind of tell how the season's going to go. Like, just I can just tell by the way the team comes out. And that game was very weird. Like, it was just the whole first month of the season was, like, weird. You're just kind of waiting for it to click. But if you watch the games, they just never were able to click. And I think in that game, what happened was, I mean, when you have both of your running backs fumble at the 1, and it's like, then at the end of the game, your head coach doesn't trust the quarterback you just traded everything for, basically, to not convert a 4th and short. And he did it constantly throughout the game. And like the Broncos aren't, at the time, the Broncos just weren't like a veteran team. Like a lot of our best players were younger guys. So I feel like they were just kind of like, wow, we just lost to the Seahawks, like all this hype. And we just went out here and put up 16 points and lost. I kind of had a gut feeling. I said, I feel like this season is going to be pretty bad. I said, because Hackett looks like he doesn't. No, because I had a gut feeling. I was just looking, and they were all laughing at me, my friends, and I'm just like, I have a bad feeling about this season now, because I'm like, Hackett looks like he doesn't know what the hell he's doing. And I proceeded to be right. You just see throughout the next few games, he didn't know what the hell he was doing. So.
Yeah, it was. I think we underestimated a new coach and a new quarterback at the same time. Like, we had false expectations because of Peyton Manning, but even Manning came in, it was John Fox, right? It's an experienced coach. He has control of the team. There's kind of like an identity there. Brady goes to Tampa, but that's with Bruce Arians, another veteran head coach who's done it a long time. Matthew Stafford goes to the Rams. That's with Sean McVay. Like, this was a unique situation, and I think we underestimated all the change and I think we underestimated Russell Wilson's persona and all it takes in, kind of figuring out how to navigate that. Not that it's necessarily a knock in the way that a lot of people really want it to be against Russ, but Pete Carroll knew how to deal with it and manage it. But they started with Russ from day one. Like, it turned into something else, and they figured out how to kind of go with it. Hackett, new coach, new situation, trying to figure out all that stuff and accommodate Russ, probably giving too much to Russ. And then everything else got bad.
Yeah, and the last thing I want to say, because I'm going to let Amir go, I feel like this season, like, Peyton Manning is my favorite player of all time. Like, he's the reason why I, fell in love with the game of football. Like, Peyton Manning is my guy. But this season made me realize how much I, I didn't value Peyton Manning enough and how really great he was.
Yeah.
Because the thing about Peyton was he was so like I knew Peyton was a genius, right? But this season put into like perspective how much of a genius he was. Like think about it, because he came in. You look at John Fox, like the coordinators he had, Mike McCoy, Adam Gase. Most of these guys didn't have success anywhere else. And I'm just sitting there like, and I'm thinking Russ is gonna do that. He's gonna come like, man, we're gonna be fine. It's Russ. Like he's gonna figure it out. He's a great quarterback. And I'm like, but not everybody is Peyton Manning. Like not everybody can just come in and figure things out like this, get chemistry with all these different guys, and boom, it may take a few games, and then boom, we're off to the race to Super Bowl or buzz. And that's what I thought was gonna happen. And it just made me realize, damn, man, Peyton Manning was really one of a kind. Like we're not like he was a GOAT. Like, and it made me realize, like, damn.
Both like Manning and Brady never had all of the physical tools to be considered like, well, like, I mean, Manning had the college career that Brady didn't, right?
Yeah.
But Manning was always physically limited, and he knew that. And that's why he knew he had to be the most mentally prepared player, not on the team, but like on earth. And I think like Tom Brady learned to play as not being like the best physically gifted QB. And both of those things like serve them in the longevity of their career and how to be like the best at knowing what to do before the ball is snapped. Like two of the best players, I think, doing that. I think Manning's way better than Brady. I think he's just a lot better than him at that. But like both of them, it's like that's why they lasted so long. And then obviously like Brady had the other weird thing where his body just defied logic and all that other shit. But yeah, I agree. I like Peyton Manning was the first quarterback I thought was better than John Elway. And that was before he was a Bronco. Like he was the first QB I was willing to go like, okay, in my mind, there's another QB out there who I think is as good as John Elway. And that was Peyton.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because he picked us apart in the playoffs, but
yeah. And Peyton Manning doesn't go up to his children and kiss them on the lips. So there's one thing there.
Tom Brady.
Anyways, we're talking a little bit about Instagram early on. I got to bring this up. I got to bring this up on the pod. So I'm going to put up the pic, but yesterday on Instagram, you posted an interesting picture, a big schlong Peyton. And
I think I want to go with plump pepper Peyton. Triple P alliteration.
And you captioned it. Now I know why Sean Payton is so confident. Yep. My question for you is, why would you do this to me on my timeline when I was in public?
Well, I mean, why would he sit like that? Is what I want to know. I didn't know he was packing. I really didn't.
Oh my god, bro!
This is the type of news I'm interested in, guys. What I say?
The worst
doing
part is
jokes in football, not easy path. Somebody tweeted that to me.
Oh really? Okay, I was about to say. Okay, I was about to. Hopefully you're not trying to cover up, but for those of you guys that don't know, they all the coaches, all 32 coaches took a picture in 3 rows, and apparently someone tagged Brandon Perna in this photo, and he decided to repost it rather than not be the one to zoom up on it. But yeah, that was an interesting surprise to refresh my Instagram feed and see. But yeah, thanks for blessing our timeline with that.
Yeah, it's like my most liked photo. So
wait, what did you call him? The nickname you just gave me? You said Plump Pepper. Is that what you said?
Plump Pepper Peyton. Plump Pepper Peyton.
Oh boy.
Why would he sit like that though? That is funny.
Yeah,
why? He wants people to know. That's why. He's confident. Like that's the first thing I was like, oh, this like Sean maybe overconfident. I mean, I trust it. Like that was my vibe about him coming in. It's like he's gonna do things his way. He doesn't give a shit what anybody else thinks. He's had the success. He believes in himself.
Oh my god!
I thought it was because of Super Bowl. Nope.
Okay.
Speaking of Super Bowl winners and Broncos legends, I heard you. I can't remember where it was from, but there's like you said somewhere about a story where you met like Gary Kubiak, Wade Phillips, and all those guys at like a big gathering. I think it was maybe like a reunion of some sort or whatever it was. You said basically you had like a really awkward exchange and moment with former Broncos head coach Gary Kubiak. You want to tell us that story and kind of
Yeah, it was at Derek Wolfe's retirement party.
Oh, okay.
And I think I was 2 or 3 drinks in, 2 or 3 whiskeys in. Enough where I felt confident going up to where Bill Kolar, Wade Phillips, and Gary Kubiak were hanging out. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go talk to these guys. And that's not me. I'm kind of shy in public and nervous around people. Like I'm terrible at small talk, but I had some liquid courage. Go up, introduce myself. Wade, super nice, very cool. Bill Kolar, I tried to say like something to him, and he literally just like walked away from the conversation.
Oh my god!
Not like mid sentence, but like I was talking about like how players loved him, and like it was cool, and he was just like, "Yep." And then he turned around and left, and so Kubiak kind of got cornered, and I was like, "Okay, well I got Kubiak," and I like tried to make like some reference to about the offense and what they were doing in Minnesota because he was. Was he like the advisor there or the OC?
Yeah, he was some weird like role, but he was like calling the plays somewhat. Yeah, it was weird.
I was trying to make like some sort of football observation about the style of offense he ran and how it actually would be great for what Russ wants to do. Is like, do you think like the Broncos should be like? And bottom line, it was convoluted, and at the end of it, he was just like, I don't know what you're asking. I was like,
oh my.
But then I got a little mad because he wasn't even like trying to be nice, Like Wade Phillips, super nice. Kubiak was just like, who the fuck's this dude? Like, okay. So Wade Phillips still very high on my list. Kubiak, not to his fault. I get it. I was a little buzzed, sounding like an idiot. But he didn't hide that he thought I was an idiot. That I don't like.
Damn,
it was hard because I love Gary and everything he's done for our great franchise. My advice, don't get drunk and then try to talk football with guys who've coached in the NFL for a long time because you're going to sound stupid.
So you just like walked away after that and that was it?
Yeah. Jess, my wife, was still talking to Wade Phillips' wife and somebody else's wife, I think. So I kind of had to stand next to him, but they totally just ignored me after that.
Damn.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
A question I kind of wanted to ask you, besides Peyton Manning, because I know that's the answer you're gonna give me. What would you say was your favorite Broncos free agent signing?
Ooh, favorite free agent signing outside of Manning? Probably Akib. And I don't even know if it was like at the time, but what he brought to the team, definitely one of my favorites. I know like stuff's weird right now with him and his brother in that terrible situation. Before that, probably Neil Smith. Like taking away a great player from a division rival and then winning 2 Super Bowls. I'll go Neil Smith was pretty up there.
Okay.
I'll take it.
So we were talking a little bit about the wide receivers early on. I want to kind of get your thoughts on this, and all three of us kind of, have a little quick debate about it. But I recently wrote a piece for Predominantly Orange about Kareem Jackson and Caden Stearns and kind of how the Broncos should operate with that situation moving forward. Do you think the Broncos should re-sign K-Jack? If they do, would you like it? Would you be on board with the move? Or do you think Caden Stearns should just be the guy going forward and get his opportunity?
It's hard because I love Kareem Jackson so much.
Yeah.
I love an undersized dude who like hits like a 6'2", 240. Like I call him like the human torpedo. Because it's like once a game, you'll just see him fly in. He's not even in screen. And then he's just bulldozing his way, takes out the legs, makes a tackle. And he still played well last year. I think like what I like about Kareem Jackson coming back is just depth back there, because I'm all for Caden Stearns getting more of an opportunity in more of a starting role. I think like we saw enough out of him to be excited about. I'm fine with them leaning on him because you have Simmons back there. So whoever plays next to Justin Simmons, I feel like they're going to do well. But I think if Kareem Jackson comes back and it's more in like a shared role with Stearns, I think that's the best move. But I like Jackson.
Yeah, my God, that's the same thing I've been saying for a while now. Like, I would love to have, like, I think Caden Stearns deserves his opportunity to start, but I think if you do bring K-Jack back, I think you can use him in a lot of ways to where he doesn't just have to strictly play safety. I think you kind of put him in that hybrid role, like, throw him in at linebacker sometime just for coverage purposes, like to cover like tight ends and things like that. I mean, I would love to have him back, depth, like you said, depth, but also locker room presence, just what he brings to that team, especially, and we're going to be winning. And I feel like the whole time he went to Denver to win, and it hasn't panned out at all to the way that he's wanted. And I think now with we have a right coaching staff, the mindset is now all winning. Like I feel like this is one of the most confident seasons I'll probably say going into like the Broncos. I'm not gonna say my ceiling is extremely high, but I just feel more confident that we have a Sean Payton type head coach. I just feel like Kareem Jackson deserves it, man. He deserves to come back. I say Broncos just give him that 1 year, 3.5, 1 year, $3 million, and bring him back and but play him somewhat. I say play him. Don't just bring him back and not play him at all.
Yeah, I don't think he would definitely, come back and not, accept the backseat, per se. But I think with me right now, it's just availability. Like Kareem Jackson is one of the only safeties we've had in a while that has been able to start like all 17 games and still be able to produce at, nearly an elite level. So obviously last season in coverage, it wasn't the best, but I mean, he's getting up there in age and he doesn't necessarily have to be the starting safety right there up top with Justin Simmons. He can be inserted in other roles. I don't know how, opposed or willing, Vance Joseph is to that. I'm assuming he'd be flexible with it considering he's done stuff like that in the past, but we'll have to see. I'm kind of on board with bringing him back on just like a really short-term deal right now. But he went on Good Morning Football and said that he wants to play for a contender, and whether he believes the Broncos are that or not is still yet to be seen. Honestly, I don't even know for that yet. So we still kind of have to anxiously bite our nails until the season starts. But because we were saying that last season, but obviously in a much better situation with Coach Schlong Payton. But my last question for you today is, what is your very last question? What is your favorite video you've ever made on That's Good Sports or just anything in general, whether it's a short or just anything in general?
What's one I don't know. I don't know if I have a favorite video. When I destroyed the Tom Brady Lego head, that video turned out really cool, and that was like because we raised money for charity. So I'm proud of that one. I haven't done it yet this year, but every time around the draft, we do our best named players episode where it's just like Will and I riffing on players who have funny names. That video never does well. Like they don't perform well. I shouldn't keep doing them, but it's such a dumb thing to do that we keep doing it, and I like making those videos. So that's a hard question. I don't remember what I did last week usually, so it's a tricky one.
No, I feel
tricky
that.
One. This last season, I'd say anything Russell Wilson related was fun because people watched it. Okay. I like defending Russell Wilson now against the haters. I feel like that's part of my mission. Like I can shit on him for bad play, but then I defend him against the world because he's our quarterback. So that'll be my mission to continue if he doesn't play well.
Okay. Yeah. So the last question I have for you, and Amir, I'm asking you this too. I've been debating this for so long. I feel like for years now, like just this whole debate. But I wanted to ask you guys, in you guys' opinion, which defense as a whole, I'm not talking about secondary, like as a whole defense, was better? Like, would you guys say would you guys say the 2013 Legion of Boom or the 2015 Broncos defense, the no-fly zone?
Easily a Broncos. Easily. Come on now. I'm not even being biased either.
Like I'm saying, as a whole defense, not just secondary, just like pass rushing, linebackers, all that. Y'all
Dude, you saw the way our offense is playing and the way our defense is playing, and we won a Super Bowl like in 2016. Like that says enough for me. Like the Legion of Boom is crazy, one of the crazy secondaries of all time. No fly zone is better, but 2015 Broncos defense, nothing beats it, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I think the 2015 Broncos defense was one of the best defenses I ever watched. I think like you start thinking about, it's like 2015 Broncos, it's that Legion of Boom, it's the Ravens defense from 2000, or I think it was 2000, the 85 Bears, and there's the Buccaneers defense the year they won the Super Bowl. Like 2001 or 2 or whatever. Like those are some like the best ones ever. I think the Broncos defense that year was so because you can't put like a stat on how clutch they were.
Yeah.
And if I think maybe you would look at the Seahawks defense and say overall maybe they're just a little more dominant if you're like being really objective about it. But I think the Broncos defense had a better pass rush, and they came through in like the fourth quarter of like every single game. It was a pick, a strip sack, anything, just a dynamic play that the value of it can't be understated. And of course, I'm going to take that defense.
Yeah. I mean, for me, like I feel like for me, the argument always goes to like I think Michael Bennett and Cliff Averill, they were really good players, like Pro Bowlers, really good players. But we had Von Miller and DeMarcus Ware.
Yeah,
like,
they were insane.
Yeah, like Von Miller and DeMarcus Ware. Like I feel like that just separate. I feel like that just kills the whole argument. I mean, the secondary you can go tit for tat. You had Darian Stewart, T.J. Ward, Keith Talib, Bradley Roby, Chris Harris, and then the linebacker. Our linebackers are really great though. Trevathan and Brandon Marshall was still to this day some of the best cover linebackers I've ever seen. Like I don't think I have in a while. Like you got Fred Warner obviously, but I mean Danny Trevathan when he was with the Broncos, his coverage. You want to talk about clutch? Like the way he could cover linebackers and tight ends, like for his size too, was
they insane. Shouldn't have let him go.
No, they shouldn't have, because it was after we won the Super Bowl and we just didn't want to pay him. And I'm like, man, like that's the guy that we should have brought back, because he was ridiculous. I'm not gonna like the coverage he used, like the things he used to him and Brandon Marshall, like it's crazy.
And with
you guys
Wolfe
know that
and Malik Jackson like locking down the ends, like it was just insane.
Yeah, and you had bro, and people forget we had Shaq Barrett. Shaq Barrett was a rotational player.
Shane Ray and Shaq Barrett.
Yeah.
Coming in, it was a solid duo.
Yeah, Shane Ray, Shaq Barrett, and then you had I think we had Pot Roast that season. We had Terrence Knight in that season too. I think if I'm
he there? They had Sly Williams still, right?
You said we we had Sylvester, Malik Jackson, and I think we brought back Knighton. I think we did.
Oh, it's Terrence Knighton. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, but yeah, man, I had to go Broncos too.
Trevathan, you guys know that the Bears are still paying him?
They are.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, like their cap space is still carried over from I think they're owing him like something like $2 million, something like that, because they moved on from him early. But easily. But that's going to be it for today's episode. Brandon, thank you so much for hopping on today and talking all things Broncos, your YouTube, and all the success you've had. And thanks for continuing to be a hilarious-ass dude in this community and someone that people can look forward to watching. All the dick jokes, Big Schlong Peyton, all that stuff is hilarious and something we need as Broncos fans who have suffered through endless depression for 7 years straight. So thank you so much for being one of those that can contribute to the little left happiness that we have left.
Appreciate you guys having me. It was fun.
Yeah. For sure,
all right, man. So thank you for hopping on today's episode. If you guys are listening on YouTube, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. If you guys are listening on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, make sure to follow, hit the 5-star rating. Let us know and give us feedback about what you thought about today's episode and who you want to continue to see on the episode, rather the players, guests, insiders, writers, whoever you guys want on the podcast. Let us know your feedback. Hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. I'm your host, Amir, with my coach, Jordan, and today's guest, Brandon Perna. Until the next one, peace.
Peace.
Bye.